kid-sized pieces. My name's Miss A, and today I'll be sharing with you things you should know if you're just joining the adulting workforce. With that being said, let's get started, shall we? Congratulations on joining the adulting workforce. You now know what it feels like to work a 40-hour week and be too tired to go out partying with your friends come Friday night. Heck, even Saturday night. Let's just say the whole weekend. Work for the man and get no thanks for it. You now become a walking ATM for a good portion of your family and friends. Pay taxes in which you get very little back in return, usually, unless you've got dependents or other circumstances that allow so. And you now know what it feels like to deal with bosses and people in general that you probably would not ever talk to or want to talk to if circumstances didn't make it so. But putting all that aside, I'm going to share with you some general knowledge you should know about joining the adulting workforce in terms of applying for a job and just general knowledge. Let's just jump right into it. The first thing you should know or consider when applying for a job is that your resume shouldn't include any job that you haven't been paid for. Now that isn't to say that you can't list it, but be mindful where you list it. Under activities maybe, extracurricular activities, interests. As a recruiter, I remember talking to people who were just trying to find their entry-level job, get their feet wet per se in the adulting workforce. Even some who had been 1 or 2 years off of graduating, but consider themselves still entry-level workforce. And sometimes upon having a conversation, I would realize that the experience that they listed as experience was not a job per se, but more like a side hustle / hobby. Let me give you an example. If your experience of working includes working at McDonald's, being a babysitter, and maybe a cashier at the student store at your university, well, this is all great because these are actually experiences in which someone paid you to do the job and evaluated your workforce skill level for whatever the job was. But if in doing all that, you also took on a side project with your, roommate, and you guys tinkered around with computers, and when I say tinkered, it's not to devalue the experience that you got from that, but, it wasn't exactly a job that paid you. It was just more of a thing that you did on the side to learn more and to have experience with computers. Well then, even if your major was computer engineering and you graduated with a computer engineering degree, you really shouldn't put anything outside of the defined paid jobs that you had under experience, on your resume, So be sure to not list things that are not an actual job under experience, because it then seems like you're looking to fill your resume and it kind of comes off deceitful. Another thing to know, if you're just joining the adulting workforce or you've been in it for a while, but still relatively new to it, is that interviewing is a very important skill in terms of landing the job. And if you know very little about it, or nothing at all, or you just want to expand on what you know, check out the last classroom discussion that I had, in which I let you know how to ace your interview. But getting back onto topic, another thing you should know is that interviewing is a one-way street. Now it's true you want to check out the company and make sure that it's a good fit for you, but technically if there's no offer to be made, how will you know if you really want the job? So consider this. When you're interviewing, interview to land a job offer. And when you do have a job offer in front of you, then you can expand on what you're looking for and what you what you feel is appropriate for the job that is being offered to you. Now that isn't to say that you have all rights to ask for all kinds of things, but that is to say that upon, someone offering you a job offer, you might have a little wiggle room to ask for a little bit more, but usually if you're just joining a company and it's your first professional job, it's usually kind of one of those things where usually just take it. Take what is given to you because you just want to get in and get started. But I'll leave that up to you. All I'm saying is interview to land the job offer so that you have something to consider, and then consider your options and make a wise decision for yourself. For the majority of the adulting workforce, college degrees are essential because they open up the door of employment opportunities and they put us in a better position to make a higher rate of pay than others. But two things I want to tell you about this is that your degree doesn't necessarily mean that you'll actually work in that field, one. And two, even if you work in that field, it doesn't ever mean that the top pay that you maybe have had your eye on since you started studying it in college is going to be guaranteed to you at any time in your life, work life that is. Not to be a Debbie Downer, but as it goes, life happens and economy changes. So you just want to be able to have that in mind so that you can make the best decisions for yourself at all times. Another thing to keep in mind when it comes to degrees and earning potential, which is frankly a no-brainer, but I'll say it anyways because you never know who needs to hear it, is that upon graduating and entering the workforce, you're not necessarily going to make that top dollar, even if you have a very specialized degree, because essentially you have no experience. No one's going to pay you for experience that you lack, even if the degree says you have the knowledge. So knowledge and experience go hand in hand. And I think that's important that you should keep that in mind too when you're looking for a job or when you're new to the workforce. Speaking of earning potential, the next thing I'm going to talk to you about probably applies mostly to those who have been in the workforce for 1 or 2 years now and are now considering their next move along with a salary jump. So let's say, for example, that your first job starts you between 35 and 40K, and you've been with them for a while now, so now you're earning top dollar, 40K, right? Whether you're looking to move within the company or move out of the company, the next position that you're looking for, is the next step up and ranges between 45 and 60K. Well, now just because you have experience doing what you do, and let's say that you're like flawless in it, it doesn't necessarily guarantee you the top earning wage for that next jump that you're looking to make. In other words, going from 40K to 60K or even 55K would be an extreme jump. Really huge salary jumps usually don't occur unless what you offer is very specialized and is a desirable skill set and you have experience and are considered to be somewhat of an expert of that field or that skill set. So just keep in mind that even if you have some work experience, that your earning potential for your next job might not be a huge one, but hopefully it's a good one. And the last thing I'd like to share with you is very important, and that is that you have to be careful to not become a jumper. A jumper is someone who jumps from job to job with less than 6 months to a year on the job. And this is a big, big red flag for those who are looking to hire you potentially, because it says a lot about you without you even having an interview. Whatever it's saying to the potential employer, it all reads as bad news. So you want to be mindful that even if you don't like a job for one or two reasons, that unless it goes against you morally, ethically, or is detrimental to your health, mentally or physically, you might want to stick it out. Now, obviously, I can't tell you all the variations that would tell you whether or not a job is good to stay or not, but for the most part, there are a lot of people who are in the adulting workforce who don't like their job, but they show up to it. Is it the way to live life? Well, I can't decide for you. But sometimes we do what we have to do so we get to do what we want to do. And that's a big part of adulting in general. So make sure that you're not jumping ship every time something doesn't work for you, and that you're not being fired because you're not putting forth a good work ethic and or don't have the skill sets to level up to where the company needs you to be. You want to make sure that you stick to a job, especially your first couple jobs, at least 1 solid year. Minimum is 6 months, but that shouldn't be job after job after job. Nobody wants to hire somebody they can't employ for long. It's just not good for the company dime or morale. Well, that's it for today. Just a few things you should know if you're just joining the adulting workforce, or you've been in it for some time now and consider yourself still brand new to it. Relatively. Thank you for attending class. Go ahead and do homework by subscribing to this channel, commenting, and thumbs up in this video. My name is Miss A, and until next time, remember, you must be this tall to pay bills.